Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. Today is the last episode on this Poppa Bear series. We're gonna finish her up and get this to my dad. I know it's been a while, but it's summer and did a bunch of things. Took a trip on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, which is super cool, little deep, some stuff in the deep south, Nashville. Went and saw Donnie, the Broncast. It was cool to walk his shop. John was out filming something else with Ian and the whole Onyx team. So I missed John, but next time, John. Let me walk you through all the stuff I've done to get this to where it is from where we were. I think we finished with the e-brakes last time, and I have made a ton of progress. I didn't film it because it's a lot of just mundane, working through the details type stuff that would be difficult to film and not even that fun to watch. But let me show you what I did. Now remember, the goal was to get this thing right on a budget and just fix some things that were wrong. Somebody did a restoration, like they did an interior, they did the gauges, they did all the body work and all the rubber, they did a electrical wiring harness. So a lot of this stuff was good-ish, right? But there's some stuff they just never did right. And the rear suspension was one of them. So we 4-linked it with a TCI kit. I got the Speedway Motors EFI fuel tank. That's all plumbed up now and wired. This is just a vent hose I've temporarily tacked up so I can drive it around with the bed off. I'm gonna eventually run that hose up into the wheel well with a vent. Little details, you know, there was no axle breather tube, so I ordered one, and then I tapped the hole for the right thread and put that breather tube in there. I reused the entire exhaust basically, except for one elbow that connects this old exhaust to the collector, which is why it doesn't look great, but it was free, so I'm just dumping it ahead of the gas tank. If my dad ever wants to do like a dual exhaust that wraps around the gas tank, he can. And then these cables are for the e-brake, the e-stop emergency brake that I've now got sort of clamped into place so it stays put. Calipers are fixed, everything's good in the rear end side of it. In here, you know, we did the stereo to the retro upgrade in a much earlier season. I had to change a fuel gauge because the sender was different. Did the tilt column with column shift, drop column, little bezel down there, pedal hanger. Now it doesn't go through the floor. I had to adjust the gas pedal. I don't think it was ever actually getting full throttle. So I made a spacer to push the gas pedal out so that you can actually get full throttle. For the seat, you know, I had those terrible, let me show you, I had these terrible seats. God, I hate those. And I went and got an Econoline van seat and basically cut down the pedestal and made tabs to meet the floor. I closed all the holes in the floor. And then I got a pair of gray seat belts from seatbelts.com and made a tube to attach to the pedestal that's bolted in. I had to give it this length because it kind of, where the hole cutout is, it's not really comfortable for the driver if the seatbelt's like down in here, because it's right, so this just allows you to get it around the hip and it's fine. Remember, budget here, budget and effective. So obviously I still need to hang the door, but I want to pull it up from the lift before I do that. Okay, here's where most of the work has been done. You know, this firewall, this cut in the firewall used to be like here, matching the other side. I cut it out, moved it over, made a filler piece, okay? And that allowed me to put in this bourbon still setup here I have with, it's like a Corvette master cylinder, and then it's a Willwood proportioning valve. I made all the lines out of nickel copper. I reused most of the rear So that line in the back just runs to the rear and goes through a residual valve because the calipers are like returning cylinder types. So you need a residual valve to keep a little bit of pressure on the pads. Otherwise you get kind of a spongy pedal. Now it's got a super firm pedal. I didn't do much. Oh, and then the steering, kind of hard to see through all there. I think it's focused on there, but basically I redid the whole steering by getting exhaust manifolds instead of headers. And now the steering is just a straight shaft from the steering column, and then it's one U-joint and then to another U-joint. So it's a much simpler 2 U-joint system. It's way smoother and way straighter. On this side, I redid a little bit of the wiring. They had a weird fuse block down inside the frame rail. So if you blew a fuse, you'd never be able to see it. And then I think one of the reasons why the battery was drawing down was the fan relay. So first of all, there was a loose connector here where connects to the fan. So I redid that with a nice tight crimp. And then the circuit breaker itself that it was connected to, direct connection to the battery, was all corroded and had that white powdery dust on it. So I got a fancier circuit breaker here that it's easy to see if it trips, but it's higher quality. Still like an Amazon job, and it really isn't much more expensive. It's like a couple bucks more than a regular one. So all that wiring is corrected now. New battery cables. Oh, I went and I welded lugs, like studs, into the frame for the ground. Like they just bolted through to the ground. Don't do that, guys. You want to weld something to the frame if you can, or tap it into the frame so that whatever you're attaching your ground cable to, that bolt has a thread connection into the steel of the frame, because it's a lot more surface area. You'll get a much better ground. So I ground, I fixed the engine to frame ground and the battery to frame ground. And that's about it. I swapped out a sender for the coolant temperature sensor, and now I think we're basically at the point where we're ready to fire this thing. First thing I'm going to do is disconnect I'm going to disconnect the fuel pump, because I would like to get the electrical system checked without the pump priming, because I don't have any fuel in there. I want to see how the fuel gauge reads. So let me hook up the battery, do a smell test, make sure nothing is catching on fire, then I'll fill it with gas. I think that's a good order of operations, don't you? Okay, there should be a spark here. Oh, not much spark actually, that's good. I'm going to test my voltage so I can measure my voltage drop over the next couple of days. 12.55. Okay, great. I don't see anything smoking so far, that's good. Okay, something happened here. Voltage is reading high, so something's wrong with my voltmeter, but the stereo's turned on. I don't have a left indicator, I don't think, because I don't have the rear set up yet. Let me fill it with fuel, see if the fuel sender is working at least. I know there's no fire happening. Then I'll disconnect the battery and chase down the voltmeter and the electrical box, and then wait, hold on, did I test the wipers? Okay, wipers work. Cool. We go get some gas. It occurred to me that the connector I have for the fuel pump that I disconnected also has a sender wire, so I depinned the fuel pump part of it, reconnected it. Now I'm getting a reading of just above empty on the gauge, which is consistent with the way I had to hook up the floater valve. So Dad, if it's like getting close to empty, it's empty. So let's fill her up and see where she gets to. With 5 gallons, it's reading a quarter tank, Dad. So when you see the quarter tank is 5 gallons left. empty is it's past empty, so a tick before empty. So when you hit a quarter tank, time to get gas. Now I'm going to turn it off. Let me hook up the fuel pump again. Let's see if she primes. Okay, let's prime it again. It's been a while. It's building pressure, you can hear it. Are we getting a fuel leak? No, I don't see any fuel leaks. Okay, good. Make sure I'm foot on the brake. Make sure it's in park. Oh wait, I forgot to check oil pressure. Okay, oil pressure is good, so all that is really screwed up is the voltmeter. Good. Now I'm just going to check to make sure it goes into gear. Let me lift up the truck a little bit here. We got no brake pedal. All right, so I'm leaking something in the brake system, but it goes into gear, it runs, and it idles. So far I would say that's a win. Not a huge win, but it's a win. So let's start troubleshooting. Quick update, two things. The autometer gauge is working. I just had, the voltmeter is weird because it's got 3 pins, but you're only supposed to use 2 of them, the ground and either the signal or the power. I had them reversed, so I just took the signal and put it on the power, or the power and put it on the, whatever I'm supposed to do, that's what I did. I don't know why they have 3 pins back there. You're only supposed to use 2, and I had it on the wrong pin. Now it reads correctly. So that was an easy fix. Now, I finally figured out what was causing my battery drain. Oh my God, because I could hear this light buzzing in the background, like even with the car off after it's run. It only happens after you run it and turn the key off. And it's coming from the alternator. Now I've replaced this alternator because I was getting all kinds of weird readings from it, but I never thought to check the wiring. So it's definitely the alternator. This is a 2-pin modern alternator, and what I really need is a 4-pin older style, like 04 style, which uses a simple voltage signal to say charge. And this one needs pulse width modulation and body control module, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they've got it, because they've got some janky setup with like diodes, and I don't even know how this is meant to work, but it doesn't work because it causes the alternator to buzz and drain the battery. So I got to figure out whether I need to switch to the 4-pin or how do I make this 2-pin work. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of great tech articles on the forum, but it requires reading. Okay, you can see I've got the bed on. That was a huge pain in the butt because, you know, with all the changes I made to the cross member, like all the bolts were just like 1/8 off, so I had to pull and pry. Anyway, finally got them on. Haven't tightened the bolts, but they're all on there with a nut. So I took it for a test drive. It drove pretty good. The rear suspension is much softer than the leaf springs were and just feels more controlled. So that was a huge positive. It sounds better. I have the full throttle thing. The brakes are a little spongy still. So I've either got a leak or I need to keep bleeding them until I get all the air out of the system. But that should be relatively easy. So the next step is to get this thing on the lift, get it up in the air, tighten down the bed bolts, because some of them are really hard to reach from like on your back, and then make some final connections, and then start putting these body panels that you can't see that are down here on Ryan's rack here, put them onto the truck. Oh yeah, and my friend Tim came by and helped me hang the door. Dad, I couldn't get the, I can't get this fixed. A body shop has to basically cut it and re-weld the edge. It's the only way it's gonna work. Just enjoy the truck. If you love it, we'll get the body work done later. Okay, tomorrow's another day. Okay, so I've got the filler neck put into the bed with the caps over there. So I'm putting a golf ball in here so nothing falls in. Now the trick is you gotta hold the screws from the top and then do the bolts from underneath. Obviously my arms aren't long enough to reach that. They make a tool for it. It takes a while to get. Once you order it, it's about 13 years till it comes, but once it does, it could be very helpful. So Gavin's gonna hold the screws while I lift up the truck on the lift and then do the nuts from underneath. Gav.
Hey.
Hey. Just obviously don't drop anything in the hole, but that's what the golf ball's for, so it should be okay.
So what am I holding?
You're gonna take the screwdriver and hold each of the 3 screws while I do the nut from underneath. These 3.
Oh,
1, 2, 3. Okay?
What happens if I drop something in there somehow?
We're not gonna talk about it.
They look like they would be really soft.
Of the what?
Of the handle.
Well, they are soft compared to steel. Okay, so problem number 1, I took you up too high. This is dumb design. I guess I should have done this before I put the tank up, but then how do you connect it? No, because how do you connect the filler neck with the tank not up? Doesn't make any sense. Okay. I mean, I could do it with just the nut, but I don't think I can do it with a nut and the washer. Hold on. Let me just see if it's on straight or not. I got it on there, but I don't know if it's cross-threaded or not. I can't see. Oh no, it looks kind of straight. Oh, let me get a wrench on there.
I mean, how tight do you want it?
I mean, is it like snug?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's good because it's not. It's a locking thing. All right, only 3 more of those to go. Gavin helped me with that. It was such a pain because of the crossbars and there's just no room. Like, if you're doing this on this series Chevy, make sure that the gas tank is spaced a good distance from a crossbar and the cross member so you can get your hands in near the filler neck. Otherwise, it's just a nightmare. But it's done. And then Gavin helped me hang the fenders. There's just 2 bolts on. And then so I'm gonna finish putting the fenders on and the running boards and the filler panels, and then we'll check back in. All right, it's been a couple days. I have my leg up, jeez, I'm not a model. So it's been a couple days. I've been testing it. I took it for a long test drive. I came back, the rear brakes were smoking because I had left the parking brake on, the e-stop. Probably a disadvantage of not hooking up the light, but it also means that needs to be tightened because really this thing should not move with the e-stop on. So I tightened that up, bled the brakes yet again because they're still a little soft. One of the things that was bothering me is the temp gauge never worked. I tested the sender, I tested the wire, I pulled the gauge out, bench tested it, the gauge was bad. So I just got the gauge, so I'm gonna install that. And yesterday, I pulled the spark plugs and one of them, the number 3, was totally cracked in half. So I'm sure that might have been part of why I was sensing some missing with the engine. So I changed the spark plugs, it seems to run better. So I'm gonna get this gauge in, and then I think that's the last thing I have to do that's on my list. And then I'm just gonna take it for a long drive and see what else needs tweaking before I can get this to my dad. Where's that spark plug? Oh, there it is. See that crack? Right in half. So this guy, the previous owner, made this trick, like it's all hand machined, like gauge cover to fit in the Chevy hole. It's pretty thoughtful, man. So I'm gonna keep that, obviously. And I'm just gonna replace the water. I mean, it's a bit of a pain because you gotta line everything up. Oh, obviously. Nice. All right, that's done. You probably can't see it on camera, but I can tell these are the newer ones because these are slightly more yellowed, but you know, time will even them all out. Let's get it in the truck. All right, gauges are in. Batteries hooked up. Haven't left any wrenches or nuts. The one thing about these low trucks is getting them off of the lift is a bit of a challenge, on and off of the lift. You basically have to like get the arms under there and then finagle the pads with the spacers in, because the, what do you call them? Those things, they hang so low. So you gotta get in here. You see that? Take off the padded spacer. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is like complaining about a lift is like, you know, my gold shoes are too tight and my wallet's too small for my 50s. On the road, it drives great actually. Like, I mean, it's a 50-year-old truck, so there's lots of bumps and noises, but the steering is less lumpy because of the corrections we made. The brakes, I mean, it could be better. The brakes could be better, but it does stop. You just got to leave yourself some room. The gas, like with that spark plug change, it runs way better. So all in all, I'm really happy except for the brakes. I don't understand, like if I pump, if I pump them up, it'll stop, but that tells me that there's still air in the lines. So I don't know. All right, we're on the freeway. I'm getting this weird whining sound only when I step on the accelerator. That is. Sounds like a jet engine firing up. Doing a freeway test in Seattle is not the best idea, to be honest with you. Not a bad test ride. It giddy up's pretty good. Left, right, pretty good. The whoa needs some work. So I need to check that. And the water temperature gauge is not working. So what's funny is I was gonna bench test it before I installed it. Then I thought, it's brand new. What do I need to bench test it for? Should have bench tested it. So I'll do that too. Yeah, but it's Sunday. I gotta go take my daughter's senior pictures. So there's more important stuff out there, but we shall continue. I fixed the gauge issue. It was a bad ground, so the old gauge works. Of course it does. The brakes, been doing some research. Honestly didn't know, I mean, I obviously know how to put together a brake system, but I don't know how to design one. And this master cylinder comes with a 1-inch bore. And I think with the total area of caliper that I have with discs in the front and back, I think it needs a 1.125 bore master cylinder. That doesn't mean you have to push harder, but right now the pedal is super easy, so applying more force is not the issue. The issue is that, how do I even describe it? Basically, the amount of fluid you get for every inch of pedal press, right, is more with a bigger bore master cylinder. But the reverse of that is you get less clamping force per inch. If that makes sense. You get more fluid, but less, so you gotta push harder for the same amount of clamping force, but you have to push a lesser. So in other words, like, I would need 7 inches of pedal travel to get my brakes to work with this, okay? But with a larger master cylinder, I can get the same amount of total clamping for 5 inches of travel, but I have to push that much harder. So something like that. Those aren't the exact numbers. So I've got a 1.125 inch bore coming. And of course that means I have to re-bleed the whole system, but hopefully I'll actually be able to brake. So it's kind of important. That's what I'm told. It's been about a week and a half since the last shot. I got the master cylinder in, painted it, installed it, made a huge difference. That 1.25 bore size is exactly what these calipers need. Your mileage may vary, but it made a huge difference in my case. So I thought I was done. I went, wanted to go test drive it, so I just tested the e-stop, pushed a button, and then pow! Huge sound. So I was like, well, that's not good. Let me show you what happened. So on the end of the e-stop right there is the ferrule that holds the cable, basically. Well, this side just plain popped off right there. There should be a ferrule. It's in my hand. And it shot off and hit the wall. I think maybe that mark or something. But yeah. So I bought this tool to swage on new cable ends. And I bought these from Amazon, 3mm. No, 1/8 inch. But these are not 1/8 inch. The hole is exactly 1/8 inch, which will not fit over an 1/8 inch cable. So I ordered a different set from Tacoma Screw and another one from Proline Max. These were like ball end swages. These are cool looking, but these are chunkier. So I'm gonna use the chunkier ones and I'm gonna put 2 on each line. So let me go pull the lines off the car and then we'll swage on new ones. I'm gonna do both sides because I don't want this to happen on the other side. Let's just do a test run with these 10 gauge ones. Oh yeah, that's definitely the right size. All right, let's bring her down. Please be the last time, please. Let's try it and see if we hear any more pops. It's better. Yeah, that's better. I can overcome it with gas, but it's not, it doesn't want to roll. Okay, this thing's ready to test drive. Oh, finally. Well, it drives great, brakes good, everything's goodish. The horn doesn't work, and the water temperature still doesn't work, but I'm calling time. My dad's a handy guy. He can figure this stuff out. I cleaned it up, I washed it up, I pressure washed some of the moss that was built up in the corners, torqued everything down, torqued the lug nuts down, put the caps back on, polished them up a little bit, buffed out some minor imperfections, but the paint's pretty much shot anyway, so that doesn't matter, but it looks good. And yeah, let's see, you got 1,400 miles to deliver this thing. So my plan is to leave early in the morning. I got a meeting down in Sumner at 8, and then just head straight down from there. Will I stop? I was gonna stop at Phil's, but he's out of town, so I might just bomb down there. We'll see. I've been known to do that from time to time. We're on the road early Friday morning. Rolling into downtown Sumner. The railroad tracks. This is the cannery in front of us, the old cannery. It's a furniture shop now, but I think it was an old cannery. Right on cue, there's a train back there. You can feel it all through town. Wow. Can't see the train through the trucks though. And then as soon as you make it over the tracks, you're on Main Street. You know, Main Street, USA. Love it. I'm just stopping in my friend Jerry's. He lives across from that high school that I built. That's Jerry. It's his old truck. This is a much younger truck than my truck. Say hi, Jerry.
Hi.
Sorry, we were just shooting the hoot, but basically this old truck is so cool, and it runs, I mean, it runs like a top. It idles so smooth. It's insane. It just fires right up with the old carburetor. Very cool. Yeah, so Jerry was a photographer in the Army and for newspapers. This is a shot of Muhammad Ali. I love this picture. He took this at a match in Berlin, right?
Well,
a boxing.
yeah, it was for the ABC Wide World of Sports training session.
Training session, yeah.
And then of the day before he fought Mildenberger.
Oh yeah, okay.
1966.
Yeah, and he's got the ticket, and he's got pictures of Howard Cosell. He's got
ticket.
Yeah, he's
also is his DNA.
Oh right, because he
was sweating when he signed.
Yeah.
I've got this. I can make another one of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's got pictures of Carter and all kinds of people, so it's super cool. We became friends when I was building that school, and hopefully we'll pass a bond here. I'll finish the total replacement. The old high school's back there. They're still using it, but hoping to tear that down and build a new one over here somewhere. Anyway, the road trip continues. America. So far so good. I've got about a little over 1,000 miles to go. Cruising, you know, at about 60 miles an hour. It's at 1,750 RPM. So a real highway gear, which is nice. And I think I'm getting good mileage. I don't know, I'll report once I stop for fuel. Normally I stop at Space Age, but it's only like 30 minutes from now. I think I'm going to keep going past Portland and maybe into Salem or Eugene or something. But we'll see. We made it to the Oregon border. Portland, baby. Well, I'm about 5 miles from an exit. Actually, there's an exit coming up here, and she's starting to run horribly. So I'm going to get off the road. I don't know if I'm running out of gas or what. It feels like it's running out of gas. Well, that was scary as hell. Let's hope we're out of gas and it's not something else. Alright, I just fueled up. Ooh, I hope that was a problem. Feels like it's kind of got its power back. Yeah, it was gas. Holy smokes. Yeah, okay, I changed. My first real stop since I left Sumner. But now that it's got gas, it seems to be okay. Let's go on the road and see. It was super not fun. Could this guy drive any slower? Is it even possible to drive any slower? I've made it to Space Age in Roseburg. I'm about 100 miles from Medford, Ashland, US or the California border. Just getting gas again. Did okay, so that issue is definitely fuel. We'll see what my mileage was. So there's more hills coming into Roseburg. I got about 16.7 miles a gallon the first leg of the trip with some traffic. So we'll see 9 gallons. Let's do some calculations. Yeah, so I only got about 13 miles a gallon going through the hills. Just gonna take a bathroom break. I'm gonna check the oil first, but yeah, it's going good. When I pulled off the highway, it was idling a little rough, but
don't know what that is. We're gonna keep, it's happy on the highway. It's when you stop that it's not happy. Yeah, it was really hard starting, so I just made sure my header bolts were tight, checked the oil, checked the trans fluid, checked the radiator fluid. All the fluids are good, all the bolts are tight. So I don't know why it's hard starting and idling rough, but hopefully it'll work itself out. I mean, I really don't think this truck has been driven like this ever. It's certainly not in the last 30 years, so it's definitely a good shakedown run. So leaving Roseburg, and then I think I'm gonna stop in Medford, just fuel up, check everything before I head into the Siskiyous. That's the big mountain pass. So basically once you go through the Siskiyous, so there's a pass between here and Medford. It's Grants Pass. Then after Medford, it's the Siskiyous dropping you down into Wairika, California. After that, like past Shasta, past Wairika, it's pretty much literally downhill for 500 miles till you get to the Tejon Pass, south of Bakersfield. We shall see. Southern Oregon isn't quite as nice, but it's not bad. There's that upper lower table thing that I hiked when I came to Medford to the Tom's event. And Mount McLaughlin's out there. Right there. 10,000 feet. Alright, I'm in Ashland at the Sinclair. My kids call this the Krispy Kreme gas station because that logo looks like Krispy Kreme. No issues idling when I got off the highway this time. I'm gonna grab a meat stick. I'm feeling a little shaky, and I think the next stop's gonna be in In-N-Out in California, in Shasta area. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Well, maybe Northern California is actually prettier than Southern Oregon. I mean, it's really pretty. Look at that. Look at that mountain off to the left. Wow. I mean, just gorgeous. Never mind the bugs. So it's many hours later, many miles later. I'm in Tejon Ranch, which is only about 70 or 80 minutes from my parents' house. I've learned a lot about Poppa Bear on this drive. We've gotten to know each other really well. She keeps throwing a code, or he keeps throwing a code, cam position sensor, but I just gassed up and fired it up, so I think this will get me home. Been a little worried that it was gonna strand me, but so far it's been okay, knock on wood. The right blinker wasn't working when I left the house. Then I hit a bump and then it started working, and then I hit another bump and then it stopped working. I think I need to either put a resistor in line or get an LED flasher because I don't think the rear lights are giving it enough resistance. LS life is so nice. I mean, this thing goes 80 with a finger on the steering wheel. It's awesome. It's a little rough. Like, it's great for street driving, but it's a little rough on the highway, especially I-5, like the slow lane in I-5 is like it's like a crocodile's back. It's like worse than a third world country road. It's terrible. So I was in the fast lane a lot of the time just because the slow lane is so bad. It just rattles you to death. I mean, I'm vibrating. The camera's vibrating. It's like, yeah. But yeah, I'm almost done. About 70 minutes. Straight through, only stop for gas and bathroom. And yeah, 18 hours, almost there.
The car ocean, please.
What happened?
Nothing. I made it. I'm taking a video. I made it. I made it. My parents are very happy to see me. And I got home. I got here at like 5:20. It's now 6:30 a.m. So I got about an hour of sleep. I can't open this stupid door. Why can't I open this door?
I don't know.
Because it's trying to do it one-handed. Yeah, I only stopped for gas and bathroom. So she made it. This is her new home, his new home, Poppa Bear. So we're not done though. This isn't it. This isn't the end. There's one more thing to do. I'll show you.
And this is what it's all about. Cars and coffee here. It's my cousin Arby. That's his Grenadier. This happens at the theater in La Cuneta every Saturday, and I was trying to get this car done so my dad could have something to bring to this. So the boys are going to look it over and give them their lies. But anyway, oh, it's good to do this. The real nice cars are starting to show up. Look at this monster. Jag. Lots of Cobras and stuff over there, some Ferraris. We'll go check it out, I'll show you. Austin Healey. Prius, yes. There's usually a Bronco or two that comes also. I love these patina rigs. Falcon. Goats galore. Nice. Oh, here's another bathtub right there. Nice. This is like the Mopar boys. Oh, beautiful. Look at that thing. Roadrunner. Super original. Look at that, scuffs and all. I love it. Unrestored 440. And then there's some Cobras and Mustangs over there. So yeah, look, guys. Oh, it feels good to give something to my dad. And you know, he doesn't have to keep it. I just wanted him to have something to drive here a couple weeks. And oh, look at that thing. And the thing is, it's got value, so he can sell it and buy something else he wants, you know? But it gets him going. So Dad, there's no pride of authorship. I don't care if you sell it at all. Just enjoy it and be part of the hobby. And for everybody else, go build something, huh? See you next time on Matt's Garage. So you're burning oil and leaking oil? That's some bullshit.